Welcome to Spiritual Foundations for Life. This is day number 157. There was a man who was abruptly awakened by a bright light in his room. His heavenly encounter was accompanied by a clear impression on his mind. And when he woke up the next morning, he knew what his calling was. He had to speak out against the slaughter of unborn children. But this task was very formidable. Many states had laws that needed to be overturned, but that seemed unlikely since the Supreme Court had legalized abortion. The liberal press favored the rights of mothers to abort their children, so where should he start? Well, first he needed to educate himself, and so he read many books about reproduction and medical ethics. He wrote letters to the editors of magazines and newspapers. He worked to elect local politicians who shared his views. He marched for pro-life and picketed for abortion clinics. And he worked tirelessly for years, but he grew more and more disillusioned with his progress. He fought off bitterness against his perceived adversaries and the attacks of the enemy, who was relentless. Look at all your feeble efforts, the devil would say. You're not accomplishing anything, so why don't you just quit and just, have a little fun in life? The devil's advice was tempting, but the man took his case to the court, to the Lord one night. And he said, God, I feel like a failure. I am so discouraged. I want to please you, but nothing seems to have changed. And in the stillness of night, another heavenly impression came to his mind. And this is what it said. It said, my child, I ask you to speak out against abortion. And this you have done. You have renewed your mind. You've learned how to speak the truth in love. You've put on the armor of God. You are more patient. You're more kind and loving than you were before. And yet you feel hopeless because you have not impacted the laws of the land or stopped the press of the ungodly. I never asked you to do that, the voice said. I, my child, will convict the world of this guilt in regard to their sins. That is for me to do, not you. See, if we want to feel discouraged and depressed, then we should try assuming God's responsibility for him. In this world, we're going to face negative circumstances and inevitable losses. Suffering is part of our purification process. It's part of our maturing process. Romans chapter 5, verses 2 to 5 says, we boast in the hope of the glory of God. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit. We think this job seems hopeless, so I think I will change jobs. This marriage seems hopeless, so I think I'll dump this one and look for another spouse. See, these are often the thoughts of the hopeless. Yet there are many times when we need to change jobs. Yes, we need to change jobs and move, but in many cases what we really need to do is persevere and grow up, mature. We only make matters worse if we keep running away from the lessons of life. James chapter 1 verses 2 to 4 says, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. See, this is not Christian masochism. This is how we're to develop and strengthen our character. And that is the basis of our hope, facing these things and persevering through them. Our key point today is that proven character is hope realized. And Hebrews chapter 6 verse 19 says, we have this hope as an anchor for our souls, firm and secure. God bless you. See you tomorrow for another episode of Spiritual Foundations for Life.